Hi, my name is Soundarya. I graduated from Columbia University in 2019 with a master's in management science and engineering and interned at Salesforce as a technical program manager and currently work there as an associate product manager. I hope the tips and strategies that I'm sharing in this video are helpful for you in finding your internship. The first step in finding your internship, in my perspective, begins even before you leave your home country. And I like to call this the pre arrival preparation. So, in the months leading up to your departure from your home country, when you have a lot of time and you're not burdened by things like courses, assignments, networking events, and other events, you can focus on three things that'll help you a lot in the future. First, I recommend looking at your online presence. So, in a very highly digital world right now, all of us have some sort of a persona online. This could be in the form of, say, your LinkedIn profile. It could be in the form of your GitHub profile or your website. So make sure that you go and complete those and you update them so that you don't have to focus on this once you go to the destination country. Second, I would recommend looking at your resume and trying to see if there are ways you can improve it. So go read some articles on the do's and don'ts of building a resume. Look at if you can make it more ATS friendly. Use websites like JobScan to see how relevant your resume is for the job role that you're interested in. So, in general, just do a quick review of your resume and see if there are ways you can improve it in those 3 months. And finally, I highly recommend spending some time taking courses online. Since the pandemic, there have been dozens of new startups and companies that have kind of sprung up in this area of e-learning and online education. And many of those offer courses for free. So there is so much information out there. All you have to do is just take that first step, spend some time, and learn things that interest you, which also would be useful in the future. So these are something you can try even before you leave your home country to kind of have an edge once you reach your destination country. When it comes to the kinds of internships you can pursue, really you can pursue any opportunity as long as it falls within your area of study. For example, my master's was in management science and engineering. So I had to show correlation between the courses that I took as part of my major and my role as a technical program manager at Salesforce. And your internship itself will be part of something called the Curricular Practical Training Program, or CPT. And this is different from something you might have heard of called OPT, which is optional practical training. So generally students use CPT to pursue internships before they graduate and OPT to pursue a full-time job or a part-time job after you graduate. And so there are two major differences between these two programs. The first difference is that OPT is something you can do either while you're studying or after you graduate, whereas CPT is a program that you can use only before you graduate, when you're actually pursuing your master's or your grad school studies. The second difference is that for you to pursue your internship through the CPT program, your employer has to be on something called the SEVIS list. So just make sure that before you sign any offer letter, your employer is on that list and that they can also hopefully offer you some course credit for what you're doing there. For starters, I want to break a myth here. If you heard that networking is this extremely frustrating process where you have to go meet strangers and you have to make awkward small talk and ask them for favors and they'll say no and it's just such a soul-crushing process. If you've heard this from people, I just want you to forget all that for a minute and start thinking about networking from a new and more positive lens. It'll help you so much if you think of networking as this incredible phenomena, this incredible opportunity through which you will be able to form connections and hopefully lasting connections and relationships with people that you might have not met otherwise. So it gives you a reason to put yourself out there and be confident and push yourself out of your comfort zone. So if you start thinking about it that way, it'll just help you so much. Talking about how to reach out to people, LinkedIn is still a great platform to do that despite the noise there. For now, I'll just mention 2 tips that might be useful for you as you're reaching out to people on LinkedIn. First, let's say you want to find someone from a specific company. I recommend going to either the company or the university's page on LinkedIn and then using the alumni, or I believe it's the people tab on the right, and then using the filters that LinkedIn provide you already to narrow down the list of people that you want to reach out to. So you can get really specific if you do this. For example, you might be able to find someone who graduated from your university, say within the past 3 years, with your specific major, and who is currently pursuing a product management role at a specific company like Apple or Airbnb. So if you get that specific, the more specific you get with the people you're reaching out to, you'll have more overlap between what you're interested in and what they're currently doing. So it'll help you with your intro message there. And second, I recommend using something called the content filter. So this is, I don't know how many people use this. I came across this only towards the end of my grad school experience. If you go to the search bar on LinkedIn and type in keywords like hiring PM or hiring designers or hiring designers Amazon, then instead of clicking on the people tab, if you click on the content option there, it'll bring up all of the posts over, say, the past 7 days that people have posted on LinkedIn with those keywords. So this way, you'll be able to find people who are actively hiring someone for, say, the position that you're looking for. And so you can reach out to them directly and express your interest. So it's just a faster way to reach out to people who actually are looking for people like you. The real answer is, it depends. It depends on your company, it depends on your role, on the location. For example, for product management, it would be within the range of, say, $35 to $55 an hour at a big tech company like, say, Google or Salesforce. Whereas for consulting, it'll be slightly on the lower end, between about $20 to $40 an hour. But really, it depends on a lot of different factors. And I know that's not helpful. So what I would recommend is to use platforms like Glassdoor or Payscale, where such information is available and you can get really specific with your number based on the role that you're looking for. I also recommend checking out this app called Blind, which is sort of an anonymous professional network. So because it's anonymous, people tend to be extremely transparent about things like compensation and many other topics as well. So you can also use that platform to ask these questions and you might get some very helpful answers there. It took me about 8 months since the beginning of my grad school experience to eventually get my internship offer. And it was really hard. It definitely tested my perseverance and pushed me to my limits. So my advice to you would actually be to expect a similar journey. Because if you can anticipate a difficult journey from the beginning, then you can mentally prepare yourself for it. And hopefully, it'll also help you start thinking on the lines of, okay, so I know it's going to be difficult. What is the one thing I can do today to help my future self 6 months from now? And so as you start thinking on those lines every single day and do that just one small thing every day, you will start seeing, this phenomena of compound effects. And eventually the compound effects would be so huge that you will probably get to the finish line much faster than most people. So my advice would actually be to anticipate difficulty and start preparing early. I know I rushed through a few points in the video, so if you're interested in reading something that is much more comprehensive, say on finding internships, on networking with people, on narrowing down companies to apply to, then I recommend checking out the articles in the description below. So I wrote these articles at a time when I was intensely thinking about these topics, and I tried to condense a lot of insights in them. So I hope you find them useful. Also, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram. These are my handles. And finally, I just want to leave with saying that choosing to study abroad is still one of the best and most transformational decisions of my life. And I'm just so glad that you're also on this journey right now, that you also chose to study abroad. And I wish you the very, very best. Thank you so much for watching this.